What up, y'all? Yeah. We got another smoke session edition. I'm waiting on a few people, so while we wait, you finna cut up for a minute. Let go.
Yeah. Look, smart chick dumb. Say she wanna smoke, baby, roll one. Oh, you can't roll, baby, pack one. We gon' keep smoking till the sack done. Oh yeah, hella chronic in my hyperbolic. Time chamber, yeah, I'm feeling brolic like Goku when he fighting Broly. Peppermint green Maserati. What I'm tryna get, I know God got me. God sinner, yeah, I'm God body. I'm a pothead up in Potter's house. Glasses on, tryna spot a hottie. No Suwu, blue Denali. We was 4 deep, me and my crew from college. Running through, boy, I called it Charlie. Gangsta like opponent got it. Up early with the birds. See, I'm really tryna get this thing moving. See, the money playing probably seem Jewish. Got the upper hand, got the theme music. Got the Dapper Dan jean stitch. Dripping water, yeah, it seem fluid. You a Kappa can't snitch. Self-esteem foolish, really need improving. Let me show you how to do. Ain't no carbon copy, ain't no duplicate. I control minds 4 states away. Get the party poppin' for my crew and fresh out the shower, yeah, pimp coat be my bathrobe. I ain't new to this. Taking flights and catching Uber. Blowing kisses to the stewardess.
Good weed too strong. Got a bad hair too long. You can fly like 2 Jones. Never leave the house without the tool on. Need a new coupe with the roof gone. One for me, one for mama, need 2 home. Never leave the house without the tool on. Never leave the house without the tool on. Yeah, good weed too strong. Got a bad hair too long. Young fly like 2 drones. Never leave the house without the tool on. Need a new coupe with the roof gone. One for me, one for mama, need 2 home. Never leave the house without the tool on. Never leave the house without the tool on. Yeah, good weed too strong. Got a bad hair too long. Young fly like 2 drones. Never leave the house without the tool on. Haters cut it out like a coupon. I'm on top of the green like I'm a crouton. My young told me get a ham bone. I told him that I'd rather had a cube on. Listen. Hey, it's been a good day, I had to put that ice cube on. Got a bad looking like a cube on. Smoke a big whistle like a cube on. Keep winning, y'all lose on. You know if it's me, it's you, homie. Cross me, I'ma get my Uncle Drew on. You know murder is an art, you get Drew on. Me and Q type get 2 bones. Smoke a whole 56, 2 zones. One for me, one for mama, need 2 homes. Try to stop, get a tombstone. Get ghosts just to see what you boo on. More kids in the mouth than a group home. As a kid, all I wanted was a coupe on dubs just to pull it off the lot with the roof gone. Good weed too strong. Got a bad hair too long. Young fly like 2 Jones. Never leave the house without the tool on. Need a new coupe with the roof gone. One for me, one for mama, need 2 homes. Never leave the house without the tool on. Never leave the house without the tool on. Yeah, good weed too strong. Got a bad hair too long. Young fly like 2 drones. Never leave the house without the tool on. Need a new coupe with the roof gone. One for me, one for mama, need 2 homes. Never leave the house without the tool on. Never leave the house without the tool on. Yeah.
Can you feel it? I can feel it. I can feel it. It starts in my head. It starts to move on down to my stomach. It makes me feel all good inside.
Oh, good inside. Yo, I swear I picked the best 2 songs at the whole catalog. That drone be hitting, and my God, hot sauce. But I really love that drone. Every time I hear it, it get better and better. What up, DQ Hampton? How about the people? Let them know what it is.
What's good, y'all? What's good? I was just tapping in a little bit before I dip out. Seen Juju went live, so I had to come show some love for the family. Peace to everybody.
Tell them what happening, though. What you got coming up? Go ahead.
Oh, most definitely. Well, that'll be Wednesday. Y'all gonna have deep dive with DQ. Basically, we're gonna be talking about my upbringing, who I am, promotion for my book. Make sure y'all get that. Exploring Texas Ponds, a bass fishing guide. Also got some new music dropping, real rap, available now. Direct consumer purchase, $10.
Okay.
April 21st, I start my tour with Currency. So we gonna get that rolling and rocking. Yeah, man, just everything. I just want to come and
I
yeah,
like
say what's
that.
up.
Thank you, fam. I know you love me, so shoot, I already know.
Always, always.
So yeah, that's what it is. So I'm still waiting on a couple people. Thank you for joining me, keeping me company, DQ, for sure. So yeah,
No
make
problem.
sure y'all join us for the deep dive with DQ Hampton. Literally, and just watch out because I'll be setting up that show soon enough. And yeah, y'all can just go ahead and book it because we booked them busy over here for sure, for sure. We got shoot a couple shows going on tomorrow. Of course, if everything goes as planned, check us out for a Women's History Month. We waited, say the best for last, but we're celebrating an international celebration of women achievement. Um, Women's History Month in the month of March. So before March in, we're just gonna do a quick a show. Actually, it'll probably be an introductory to once a month series to get more women in the community that we're creating because we're not, limited or just the conscious community, even though we're on the verge, but we want to be bigger than that. So we're going to be discussing feminism, which I know that triggers people, womanism, and what that is, and also intersectionality. Yeah, we're going to get it in. And I just want to shout out the women of PK, the Lady Killers official. That's Black Widow and Good Juju and Bad Juju for sure. And also the PK Army ladies. We got Gina in the house. We got, y'all know Gina A. Yeah, y'all know y'all seen Gina A. We also got Tiffany French in the house. I'm
Miss
excited.
Lisa, don't forget Miss Lisa.
Oh, yeah, I'm saving the best for last. You know I ain't finna get Miss Lisa. But that lady is not finna cut me. You feel me? She's not finna cut me. Yeah, I was basically saying like some of the newest PK people don't know. Also we got Miss Dunn, she's still being there, but of course Miss Lisa, because she be putting in work. She be putting in work. We love her. We definitely love her. She brings an awesome energy to our Discord, to the PK family, with her good morning isms every morning. So I love that. I'm not really good for that, but I mean, I guess it's good when you can have people around you that can make you better. You feel me? So I'm all for it. Because shoot, I don't even be getting up in the morning. I don't get up before 12, but that's another story. So I'm still waiting on one more person, and I know y'all see the title. We call it Identity Crisis, right? Because I think the whole world is in an identity crisis a little bit, you know we got these social conversations, we got these scientific conversations, and I feel like we confused and we can't figure it out. You feel me? Like somebody come help me, yo. And y'all know what it is. This smoke session, so this is an
You
interactive
seen
thing.
you
So,
seen what I dropped in the Discord?
I'll check.
Yeah, I dropped that good old DNA test.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He got a little
Yeah.
Albanese in his blood.
I let you know
Got a
I'm
1.5.
I'm real deal 80-20 split.
Yeah, you're real deal 80-20 split. That's what they say, right? Most of us would be like that 80-20 split, right? So
Yep.
the science, the science don't lie. I don't know what it is. So go ahead and hit that link. Um, but yeah, we're going to talk about the identity crisis, but more importantly, we're going to talk about the new government census that's coming out, some of the additions that's going to be added, and we're just going to define some terms, define ethnicity, define race. Shoot, and we're going to get a little specific. What's Hispanic? What's Latino? What do those definitions mean? Because I think a lot of times we get them confused, right? So we're just gonna do a little bit of that. And here's the main star of the show. It's Chalimboy in the house. Yo, Chalimboy,
What up? What's good? What's good with y'all?
we chilling. You feel me? I'm trying to get the crowd hype. I'm the hype woman. Hey.
Oh, we live already, huh?
Yeah, I've been
Oh.
like playing music, getting them warmed up for But yeah, so that's what we were gonna do today. We're not gonna be here too long, but if y'all want to get in a nice interactive conversation, we're all for it. But I want to do a quick shout out, of course, Omar Reed, Citadel Killer family. Yo, always be on point, first person, you know, uh number two best moderated, because I gotta give Miss Lisa number one, Omar. My bad. But definitely my favorite, one of my favorite people. We got Jesus Price in the building. Thank you for coming. Got Taj. I see you, Taj. We got Gary Hart. Yo, like A1 from day one, for real. Definitely in the building. Uh Sonic, I see you. That's definitely one of my North East African brothers in the house. One of y'all gotta go on mute. I can hear my echo. We got Brass in the building. That's the pseudo killer army. The general, the colonel, the sergeant, the captain, and the major. Lamar Pope, what's up, fam? And Kai L, you already know what it is. Pretty boy Kai L in the building. Go Noops. No, I'm just playing. I got DQ up here to support me, and we got none other than King Sosa. And y'all make out y'all be checking out Sosa's world. You feel me? And go ahead and get your avatars, you know what I'm saying, ready and set up. So it could really be fun. I think that's like the neatest part of it, watching the avatars look geeked out. We got El Bay, one of my newest favorite people. What up, El Bay? Hey, Mitch in the building. We got the homie Stefan, Herbert Goss. What's up, fam? What up, the homie? Yeah, so I'll go ahead and let you get it in a little bit, chill. Let the people know what it is, what we hear. What up, Raymond? How you doing? Thank you for coming to support. What we gonna be talking about, what we're gonna be sharing briefly. We ain't gonna be here too long, no 2-3 hours, but we just wanted to discuss some things. Go ahead, chill.
Yeah, thanks everybody for coming out. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna quickly run through this fresh development that just happened. It was a Obama plan or attempt to do. Trump shelved it, didn't want to go through that route. Actually tried to do something different, and then we got Biden in now, who's for it. Pushed it through the Office of, I think it's Management and Budget. So there are going to be new categories now on our federal and state documents, right? The next census comes out, it'll be a lot more to it. 2 new categories, and they shot down some other categories that were proposed. And I wanted to point out some of the impacts of this, because I don't think we had a chance to hatch out all the details that it may involve, but it's a significant difference. So I want to give y'all, after I read off the new census information and how they're going to categorize people, I'm going to give you some history about how that could play an impact based on a group of people who use some very unique political savviness to get exactly what they want, and how we can express that maybe could be beneficial. So just to give y'all a glance into what I'm saying, when you look at some statistics that we normally use, you will see the category white, and they'll say white households dealing with income or wealth or whatever has such and such amount compared to Black household incomes. That category of white included a lot of people. And one of the talking points you'll hear is they'll say things like, well, Asians are doing better. So this will play a role in it. I foresee some changes in some of that conversation. I think that the white income household is going to go up higher, and the disparity is going to be seen more clearly. And one of the reasons why is because some of the people that used to be classified as white are no longer going to be classified as white. They have their own specific category. And they do bring up questions of disparity in this conversation. So let's start off by reading from NPR. MENA, which is one of the new categories that they have. I want to try to get in and get out as fast as possible. Of course, we will drop the link for those who want to discuss it. This is not, I want to make sure that we understand. I don't want to get bogged down into the Moorish doctrine or the Abel's doctrine at this time, but I will tell you that this is part of the conversation to some degree.
Mm-hmm. Is this pretty much what you were going to be discussing? Do you see the screen? This is from that source, NPR.
Yeah, that's the new census form that they're going to be showing.
And I put it in the link for people so you can look at it yourselves. I'll put basically both of our sources, but I'll share your screen now. You need to scroll up. Scroll up as you go. Sorry.
Yeah. So this is about the next census. As you know, they do the census every 10 years, but they're going to start implementing it in our federal tax forms quite frequently early. So you'll start seeing it when you go and apply for certain things. I'm going to skim through it. I'm not going to read it word for word. I don't think that's necessary.
No, because I gave it to them so they could read it word for word. I even read it, y'all, because you got the NPR app. You can just push it, the recording. You feel me? You press that play, and it's gonna tell you what the article is about. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, not even playing.
Yeah, it's a 3-minute listen. I listen to it first and then read it. So it says the Biden administration has approved proposals of a new response option for Middle Eastern and North African and a Hispanic or Latino box that appears under the reformatted question that asks, what is your race and or ethnicity? Going forward, participants in federal surveys will be presented with at least 7 race or ethnicity categories, along with instructions that say select all that apply. So you can put more than one. So if you're Afro-Latino, you would put naturally Black or African American and Hispanic and Latino, trying to get a better demographics of America, where people are living at, where they're moving to, and what type of ethnic grouping is going on. Officials at the White House of Management and Budget revived these Obama-era proposals after they were shelved by Trump administration. So I mentioned that before, that this is actually Obama's intentions at the time. Most people living in the U.S. are not expected to see changes on a census until the forms for the next once in a decade head count of the country's residents distributed in 2023. Now, here's where we're going to get into some interesting things. This move sets up, I'm right here in case y'all want to see. I'll just highlight it like that. That move sets up Middle Eastern and North Africans as the first completely new racial and ethnic category to be required on federal government forms since the officials first issued in 1977 standards on race and ethnic data that the Census Bureau and other federal agencies must follow. For decades, they say 3 decades, advocates for the Arab American and other MENA, that's a category that they bunched together, Middle Eastern and North African. Groups have campaigned for their own checks box on the U.S. Census and other government forms. A recent research suggests that many people of MENA descent do not see themselves as white, a category that the federal government previously considered to include people with origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, Middle East, and North Africa. Then it goes on to talk about the Latinos, combine a question about Hispanic origins with a question about race into one question, allowing people to check as many boxes that they want. Likely to lower the share of Latinos who mark the sum of other races category in the census for. So basically with the Latinos, they couldn't, they were getting a lot of nuanced responses where you couldn't really see or at least know some of the ethnic origins of them. And so they were a little nervous about that in here. But it does bring up a problem with this. It's not clear how someone who identifies as Afro-Latino is likely to respond to the combined race ethnicity question. About half the participants in recent studies for the Office of Management and Budget, OMB,
Right.
selected only the Hispanic and Latino box when presented with a combined question after previously selecting Latino and Black categories. So before they would check both boxes, but with this new one, they just check the ethnicity. So they're worried about those who may be Afro-Latino and express some
Right.
discrimination that goes into it.
Correct. Do we need to go into like I had some definitions here. I wanted to share ethnicity, race, Hispanic, and Latino.
Yeah, you can go ahead and do that while I find the next section.
Got it. So y'all know, like, I think we confuse this, right, with nationality, ethnicity, race, because we mostly speak on having scientific conversations. The science deals with the biology, right? So, and this would fall more, so this will fall more or less in the social. It's not scientific, and it's, I think it's daunting sometimes because a lot of times public policy doesn't catch up to the science. Shoot, I don't know what the estimate. I feel like it takes at least 10 years. You feel me? Like, still working on it because shoot, the race thing has been dismissed damn 1950s. Even though it was Jim Crow, when we're talking about UNESCO, that's 1950 when it started. You know what I'm saying? But here we are. So ethnicity refers to the shared cultural traits, identity, which that could be race, y'all. So why do we need both? But hey, I'm not the government. Cultural traits, identity, ancestry, language, and heritage of a particular group of people. It can encompass elements such as nationality, religion, customs, and traditions that distinguish one group from another. That's ethnicity. Race, and listen carefully because this is, where some people mess it up, is a socially constructed. Now, that doesn't mean it don't exist. This means it's not biological. You feel me? Like, technically, there is no such thing. There's no race of humans. You feel me? We're just a species. But, for the social argument, the social construct of it, yeah, we got that. So it's a socially constructed concept that categorizes people into groups based on physical characteristics. See, the phenotype. You know how we always talk about, you just can't go off the phenotype because you'll mess it up every time, right? And that's why we have a hard problem with that Black term. But based on physical characteristics such as skin color, facial features, and hair texture. It often includes factors like ancestry, genetics, and geographical origins, but is primarily a social classification rather than a biological one. And this is the ones that's tricky. So we're going to get a little bit more particular. And I think this is where we confuse it a lot of times when it comes to Spanish speaking Latino people and how Afro-Latino kind of get washed in the mix a little bit. You feel me? Hey, Shakir, and no, Shakir. I just read the definition. Y'all can't make it up. Oh, God. Y'all be funny, bro. Hit these panels and show me a source. Yo, I hope you listen to the definition. I'll read it for you again if you missed it. But we said socially constructed, okay? It's not biological, Shakir. Hispanic. Hispanic refers to, and I even was corrected on this. It only has to do with people who speak Spanish. That's Hispanic, a person who speaks Spanish. But I'll read the definition. Refers to a person or Spanish-speaking descent, typically from Latin America, Spain, or other Spanish-speaking countries, and primarily relates to cultural and linguistic ties rather than race, and ethnicity, encompassing people of various racial backgrounds who share a common language and cultural heritage. Um, and then Latino, this is the last one. Latino refers to a person from Latin America or Latin American descent. It includes individuals from countries like in Latin America, such as Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, and others. Latino can also refer to people of Hispanic or Spanish speaking heritage, encompassing a diverse range of ethnicities, races, and cultures within the Latin American diaspora. If you are confused, I don't care about the genetic clusters, Shakir. Definition just said it's a social construct, and it's not biological. I know you don't care, but like you can't make it up. You can't make it up. You just can't make up the science, sir. Unless you yeah, no, you can't make it up. But yeah, those are some definitions. I urge you all to check out and look them up yourself, get a better understanding. Because a lot of times I hear in conversation we conflate, ethnicity, nationality, and so forth, and sometimes we're all over the place. So let's try to do better, all of us. On that note, but go ahead, Marcus.
So then we into a very interesting part, and this is where, I get a little concerned. OMB has also approved removing from its standards outdated language about allowing Negro as a term to describe Black category and Far East to describe geographic regions of origin of people of Asian descent, which according to the U.S. government revised definition now includes with origins in any of the original people Central East Asia, Southeast Asia, or South Asia. The federal government new definitions of the 7 minimum racial ethnic categories lists the 6 largest groups based on the 2020 census results. The government considers to be a part of that category. For example, its definition of Black or African American now reads individuals with origins of any of the Black racial groups of Africa, including, for example, African American, Jamaican, Haitian, Nigerian, Ethiopia, and Somalia.
That seems problematic. Can you go to the next paragraph? Because
here we
you
go.
kind of read them quickly. No. The one
go over that one again.
Go back to the Negro paragraph, please.
Okay. OMB has also approved removing.
What's OMB again?
That's the Office of Management and Budget.
Okay, go ahead.
Also approved removing from its standards outdated language about allowing Negro as the term to describe Black category and Far East to describe geographical regions of origin for people of Asian descent, which according to the U.S. government revised definition now includes individuals with origins in any of the original peoples of Central or East Asia, Southeast Asia, or South Asia.
So no more Negro and no more Far East.
Correct.
All right.
The federal government new definitions of the 7 minimum racial ethnic categories list the 6 largest groups based on the 2020 census results that the government considers to be a part of that category. For example, its definition of Black or African American now reads individuals with the origins of in any of the Black racial groups of Africa, including, for example, African American, Jamaican, Haitian, Nigerian, Ethiopian, and Somali. The key point is that this is America's definition. You can't superimpose that, saying now that all the world now agrees with these classifications. This is just America's standard on how they view those who live in America.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to keep that in mind. Standards official description: American Indian Native, Alaska Native. The OMB is removing the phrase about maintaining tribal affiliation or community attachment. The revised definition says individuals with origins in any of the original peoples of North, Central, South America, including, for example, the Navajo Nation, Blackfeet, tribe of the Blackfeet Indian Reservation of Montana, native village of Boro Ineptit. I can't pronounce that. Inupiat.
Inuit.
Yeah, thank you.
It's
Traditional
Inuit.
government,
Mhm.
Nome, Eskimo community, Aztec, and Maya.
Yeah, Inuit Indians.
Yeah,
Whatnot. So yeah, I'm problematic with the one that's describing the black still. Because what if an Australasian comes over here and like they don't fit into none of them categories? Yeah, okay.
yeah.
It's so confusing. Still, you feel me?
But this paragraph is very, very troubling. The next one.
Go ahead.
OMB decided not to move forward with calls to require agencies to gather data to better understand the descendants of enslaved people originally from Africa, which includes suggestions to use American descendants of slavery, which I'm not a fan of because I'd rather say,
African freedmen. I'd rather say that.
yeah, instead of using slavery, enslaved.
Yeah,
Um,
enslaved. Correct, correct.
you
Right,
know,
right, right. That's the correct
or
verbiage.
right, or American freedmen, which if
Mhm.
you've been following Lord Abba Nahim, he's
Yeah,
been talking about the American freedmen
yep.
for quite some time. And I think he has some plausible reasons. I think what he's saying is plausible despite his Moorish teachings.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
not worried about that, but he's definitely on point with the American freemen because of the previous legislation that's already been set into law. So I get where he was going with that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Go
absolutely.
ahead. But go ahead.
Um,
Shout out to Lord Abba, by the way. You feel me? He's
yeah,
definitely
he,
I would
he,
say a constituent, a friend of PK. Like
yeah,
we
he's
like
pretty cool, man. We
he's
talked
pretty
to him
cool.
on Clubhouse and we talked to him here, so
Correct.
it's worth listening to. I think he has some
It's
valid
worth
points.
listening to. Absolutely.
Uh,
Shout
and,
out
and
to give me a minute. I want to shout out Gina real quick. Sis, thank you so much. Your contribution was amazing. Amazing. And you know, I want to give it away if people don't know who you are in the chat. If you want to let them know, let them know. But I just want to tell you that while you're here. I really appreciate you. Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
yeah, the OMB said the Federal Register noticed that further research is needed, adding that there was opposition to the proposal from civil rights group and others
Mm.
because of concerns over the difficulty of verifying that identification is accurate. The usefulness or necessity of the data, that's a problem for me. The exclusion of other groups of historically enslaved people, problem for me. And the creation of confusion that could make Black or African American communities harder to count. Now, that one actually has some validity to it because in my own household, well, at least in my own family, there's plenty of folks that don't fill out the census correctly because they have a distrust of the federal government.
Mhm.
And rightly so. It's not like the federal government has always been friendly towards those who look like us. Um, as a matter of fact, I can't recall when it ever has been.
Um, yeah, so I'm just saying what so are you yo, I'm going to my conspiracy bag. Whatever I say is not the opinions of PK. I'm just saying because you know I just read this article today and I feel like they being messy because you feel me? They want to like uh fight for reparations by erasing our identity or at least our enslaved descendants of enslaved African identity. Is that what they trying to do?
I
I
mean,
mean,
it
what?
seems to it seems to me to be kind of a setback. Um,
Yeah.
not that I'm against including those other groups as African Americans. I'm not
Right,
against
right.
that. That's not my point. But they failed to want to make a distinction, and I'm concerned about that because you would have to make the case for reparations.
Hold up. Shakir, I need you to catch TF up. This is not about the Bitterman people, man. Please, please stop. Stay focused. This about the U.S. Census, homie. Golly. Yo, y'all let
Yeah,
Shakir live though. Azul, by the way. Um, Yeah. Go
And
ahead.
so that's part of my current concern. And I'm going to actually give y'all an example. Well, no. Let me read this last section first, and then I'm going to go to how this has been manipulated before. Not really manipulated, but people have fought to use this in the means by which I'm trying to describe for quite a bit. But let me read this paragraph first from here, and then I'm gonna go to a prime example of what they mean. So it says here, it is not clear, for example, how the federal government will consider people who identify as Minya when monitoring and enforcing civil rights. OMB's previous guidance, which
Hold on, tell them what Minya is. Maybe you should just tell
Minyan is
Middle Eastern, North
Middle
Africa.
Eastern, North Africa, and
Mhm.
OMB is Office of Management and Budget.
Thank you.
Which include people with roots in the Middle East and North Africa, and was not categorized as a minority race that would face disparate impact or discriminatory patterns. The new standards offer no guidance about which specific groups the government considers to be a minority race. So basically, when they were classified, when they were classified as white, they were not under the minority status, so that minority business loans that you would get, they wasn't qualified specifically for that because they wasn't classified as a minority group. They were classified as white. Now that has been rescinded. They're no longer going to be classified as white, which means they're now eligible for these specific things. And it's a very tricky situation. So now I'm going to give you an example of what I mean. So this is going to be talking about, this is another article. It's about the South Asians. Now, remember, we just discussed them. They're no longer talking about Far East. They're now talking about South Asians, Southeast Asians, etc.
Right.
For 1 year, all the South Asians in the U.S. was considered white. So let's go look at this case.
Oh yeah, that was wild. He said he Aryan.
So this is about so we're gonna go back to 1919. Look at a case. It's at the site. I'm using this site because it combines all the information in one, but you can actually go and look at these cases specifically in a more trustworthy or reliable site, and you'll find it. So I already verified. Well, I already knew about the case itself, but I looked into it some. So it says that year by Gat Singh Thang. I may be pronouncing this name wrong.
Forget. Okay, I can't help you with that.
Yeah,
you're doing good.
Petition for U.S. naturalization. At the time, only 3 white people qualified, and so Thang argued that as a high caste Hindu of full Indian blood, he descended from Aryans who, like other white clusters, had conquered India. The Supreme Court agreed, but rejected his appeal on the grounds that too much intermarriage with native Indians has since taken place, as evident by Thang's dark skin. Thus, in 1923, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that South Asians were not white. This ruling also marked a transition from thinking about race as a scientific concept.
Hold up. I want you to stop there. So, I think this case is also, so it did say that this is where that whole racial construct was kind of solidified. You know what I'm saying? But then that shows you the problem with conflating this quote unquote social construct, right? Because this man has dark skin. And by him having dark skin, we could say he's black, right? But he's not. He's not quote unquote black. You feel me? He's Asian. So this is why I say, I'm sure most pseudo killers will agree that society has to catch up, especially when it comes to government agencies, especially when it comes to the census. Like, who the hell is advising these people? Like, where are the experts on this case? Like, what's going on? What's up, Janelle Lola? That's Fambo right there. That's my Geechee Gullah cousin right there. But I just, I thank y'all for coming to support for real. But I'm just saying, this is the problem. What you're saying. So this man tries for petition to be white, and the reason why he's doing it is because of the laws against quote unquote black people. I know you don't understand no diplomacy. You should catch up. Watch it later. But yeah, oh my God, this is wild. It's wild. I'm gonna let you. This is another article. I'm gonna let you finish.
No, this is the same one I just scrolled down.
Okay.
But yeah, so we can see some fascinating things happening. Now we're going to get into details, some more details about this whole complication. By the 1950s, accurately tracking South Asians was not a pressing issue.
Mm-hmm.
For the decennial census, Chinese, Japanese, American were only predominant Asian groups at the time. And so for a while, the only options on the census was residents of Asian descent or Chinese, Japanese, Filipino, Korean, or Hawaiian. For the census compiler, South Asians were to be classified as others. Then in 1970, an abrupt change of policy, individuals who did not report their race as white, but who entered a race response suggesting Indo-European stock were classified as white, according to the history of race on the census. It wasn't until the next census in 1980, amid pressures within the Indian community for recognition, that the census created an Asian Indian category. Around 360 people identified as such in 1980. In the last census in 2010, this grew to 2.18 million. So this is a prime example. I'm going to pull up one in a few minutes after we open and allow people to come up or continue to discuss about what that did. But what we have to recognize is that this is an ongoing problem with the classifications of minorities that aren't clearly defined by the United States government, and that it becomes problematic because, one, the way the government allocate funds is based on these censuses.
Correct.
And so if the census aren't accurate, the allocation of block grants for certain areas becomes insufficient to provide the proper resources for that community. And if you know how the government works, we pay federal taxes. That federal tax gets distributed through block grants and social programs, at least part of it. Others for communal growth, such as infrastructure. Others for defense, military defense agencies, and things like that. And then, of course, they have additional social services such as like food stamps and et cetera, et cetera. We can't leave it as simple as that. It can be much more complicated. With this division of minion, that's the main one that has us really concerned, at least me for myself.
Middle Eastern, North African menu.
Right, Middle Eastern, North African.
Mm-hmm.
We will see the percentage of individuals on the census who report as white go down, which means the percentages of white overall will go down. We will also see possibly, I'm speculating that white household income will go up. Why? You look at the Syrian war, the war that happened in Syria, Iraq, and Iran, those wars with ISIS. You see these wars, there were individuals who were brought over here from refugee camps that bolstered the numbers of white Americans, people who are classified or able to write white on the census. But also, those people wasn't employed for a period of time. Those people got low wage jobs when they're first entering into the system. That brought down the overall total amount of white household income down. Possibly. I'm suspecting that. So we will see an increase, I'm thinking, of white household income over time.
I just wanted to read the census because listen, if you call yourself, if you live in America and you're calling yourself black or Negro, and y'all know who I'm talking about, okay? Y'all know I'm talking about. Stay with me. I don't ever in my life want to hear y'all claim y'all is Blackfoot and y'all from Georgia and South Carolina. Because the Blackfoot Indian Reservation of Montana, and it's in Canada. Y'all ain't nowhere near there. So how y'all Blackfoot? Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Let me read some more of this. Let me see. Let me see. So American Indian. This is the example of the new one. American Indian or Alaska Native. For example, Navajo Nation, Blackfoot tribe of the Blackfoot Indian Reservation of Montana, a native village of Abaro Inupiat. I ain't never seen that spelled. Inupiat traditional government, Nome Eskimo community, Aztec, Maya. All right, all right. Asian. So you see you see the demarcation, right? Even though indigenous, they're no longer Asian in a sense because of the genetic markers have changed since they've been on this landmass. Okay, so that's the difference. So y'all gotta stop calling them Mongolian. They're not. They're not that. They're indigenous Americans. They're not Mongolian. Okay. Um, Even all Asians ain't Mongolian. Like y'all really using outdated racial categories, and it's crazy. The Caucasoid, the Mongoloid, the Africanoid, y'all gotta stop. Asia's got Chinese, Asian Indian. That's East Indian, if y'all didn't get that. Filipino, Japanese, Korean, for example, Pakistani, Hmong, Afghan, etc. So y'all know what it is. You feel me? That's not Egypt, but it's when you cross over. Um, what's that landmass? The Sinai Peninsula, and you get to like where Pakistan and Jordan, and 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 those folks. That's what that for example mean. Um, all them over there. Is Israel considered that also or no? Or they're just considered something special, different?
No, they were classified as white.
Yeah, I forgot. They are white. Yeah. Okay, let me stop. Black or African American. So this would be African American. We read this Haitian, Somali. So, for example, Trinidadian and Tobagan, Ga- Ghanaian, Congolese, etc. So y'all got that. Hispanic or Latino. I gave y'all the definitions of that. Even they're Spanish speaking or they are from Latin American countries culture. Okay. So technically Hispanic can be encompassed in the Latino category. But I get it because you don't necessarily have to be in the Spanish speaking country to speak Spanish. Okay. But you could identify as culture. So that's Mexican, Cuban, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Salvadorian, Guatemalan, Honduran, Spaniard, Colombian. All right. So would Afro Colombian fit in this category? Or Afro Nicaraguan, Afro Mexicana,
In
like
what category?
Hispanic or Latina?
Yeah, that was the other concern. That
Right.
was
They,
one of the
they need to
concerns
have
they
like
brought
a
up.
Afro indigenous section.
But they
Yeah.
can they can check both, so they could put
Oh,
black.
so we can check both. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I got you. I got you. So Middle Eastern or North African. So okay. I see what Gina was talking about. She says, yeah, they're just okay. I see what you're talking about, Gina. But they didn't say Arab. So but it does Lebanese, Syrian, Iranian, Iraqi. Okay, so this is not Asian. Sorry, I have to take that back. I messed that up. So that's interesting. So Pakistani is over here. Yo, okay, wait a minute, but I'm so confused. How is Pakistani under Asian, but is not over here with Egypt and Israel and Iran and Iraqi? Can somebody help me understand that? That's good? Pakistani? That's Pakistan, right?
Yep.
So in Afghanistan, how are they in the Asian category, but they're not in the Middle Eastern North African?
They too dark.
Man. Yo. But the Moroccans are dark too.
Some of them.
I'm gonna leave it alone. All right. But y'all, yeah. I mean, I guess I'm gonna give them credit for improvements, but this is still wild. Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander, Native Hawaiian, Tongan, Samoan, Fijian, Chamorro, and Marshallese. That's interesting. I need to look that up. Tahitian, Palauan. That's interesting. Cookies. I've never heard of these terms. I would definitely look these three up. The Chukisi and the Palauan and the Marshallese. That's interesting. I feel like they're just making stuff up at this point. No, I'm just kidding. They're not. So white, English, Italian. Some of them Italians got that African admixture, especially them Sicilians, but we ain't gonna talk about that. German, Polish, Irish, Scottish, Norwegian, Swedish, French. Yeah, that's interesting. I think there was another. No, did I have the other chart? Okay. Oh boy. All right. But that's an example of what the new census classification will look like. Pretty interesting. All right, it's in South Asia, but I mean, it's literally like it's 500 miles away from Egypt. And ain't yeah, I just nah, I'm just I ain't buying it. That's political. That's political, man. Because all them Pakistanis I've seen on TV, they look extremely light. And I've seen some very dark Moroccans. So, but okay. Okay, but isn't Iraq and Iran in Asia too? Let me check a map. These people still playing games. I'm telling you. I'm sorry. I'm finna look at a map, y'all. I'm finna actually pull a map up. But go ahead while I pull this map up, because that's still wild to me.
Okay, hold on.
Let me sing for a song. This is a brief intermission. Okay, map. Let's see a map of 8. No, let me see a map of north.
It is in
yes,
it is in South Asia, Miss Tiff said.
Yeah, I know it is. But where I ran and I'm just gonna pull it up. I want to see it.
I don't know how long it's been classified like that. Maybe it's been classified like that the whole time. I know that they weren't included in the affirmative action at first until the 1980s.
Yeah, boy.
What is it? Pakistan. Yeah.
Okay, let's just look at it, y'all. I'm gonna pull it up. They playing, bro. They still playing. I don't care what else. I get it, but you know, that's why I said across. So just to clear it up, so nobody think I'm too, I'm too dunce. I'm finna check the map, y'all. I got it. I did say across the Sinai Peninsula. That's considered Asia. I got that. I think I said that. So. Yeah. Yeah, let me just all right. So this is the North Africa up in here and the Middle East. Okay. So Afghan, okay, I see. So India, that's Asian. So this Asia, but Asia starts right here. After this sits on the African and the Asian what is that, plate tectonic? So Jordan, all that, Yemen, Oman, the Middle East, that's part of Asia too. All this is all Asia. So there's a difference between this Asia and this Asia. Is that what y'all telling me?
Huh? That's what they saying.
But what? So it just so once you pass Iran, you're like a real Asian, and these are white Asians. Is that what y'all trying to tell me? What? But what about Turkey and Uzbekistan? How would they?
So I think Turkey is actually split. It's part of it's considered Europe, and part of it is considered the Middle East. I think.
Okay.
I think Turkey is actually split.
I'm just saying. Western Asian, Southwestern Asian, Middle East is Western Asian. So what's Pakistan again? All the Levant and Saudi Arabia. It's Palestine, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia. That is close to Egypt and Asia. Hella far from me. It's 500 miles. Because I'm going there. So I asked, like, how far? Well, how close is all that bombing and whatever going on? I asked. I've been asking. I checked the Homeland Security website almost every other day. Okay, trust me. I asked, but yeah, I'm just gonna just okay, yeah. So the Southwest Asia, but this is considered Asia too. This is on the Asian plate tectonic, but they call it the Middle Eastern. All right, people. Sure, go off. I don't know.
Yeah, so y'all can come on up if y'all want to talk about it. I've seen a few people
Please hit the link.
not overly thrilled about it.
Hit the link, Shakir. Explain it to me. I don't want to be doing all this reading. Come on, hit the link, Cedric. Iranians consider themselves Caucasian. I got that part.
They did. That was the whole. Matter of fact, there is some genetic evidence that that some of the.
But their genetics is definitely a lot of Asian admixture, Cedric. I'm just saying.
Oh, they got some Iranian highland. Like in India, they have a caste system, and their caste system actually matches the genetics. I think me and I showed that to Gullah that they actually came down from the Iranian highland farmers, and they ended up heading to India and having children and so forth. Those children are the lighter class, so forth and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And the dark class that were the indigenous hunter-gatherer societies that were down there became the lower end of the class. So it's a wild thing. But you got my screen shared. Here's another example of part of the problem. This is, if y'all know what happened with affirmative action in college admission, and you can see the replication, the complications with that now, and certain laws or at least lawsuits that were being filed. One being one very problematic lawsuit was the lawsuit that stopped the aid for minority farmers because they felt as though it was discrimination against white males. That was a wild came out of the Biden administration. It was the second stimulus package for farmers that came through. They set aside allocated a certain amount of money to minority farmers. And that's what happened. They white men got upset about it and filed a lawsuit saying they were being discriminated against, despite the fact that I think they said the last count, 96% of the previous bill went to white male farmers. They felt as though they were being discriminated against. So Chang is one of the guys who joined the lawsuit about discrimination and practices, right? And you see right here, Chang, he joined the lawsuit with the far right in trying to dissemble college admissions using race as part of the conversation. Chang was a student at Berkeley, part of the cohort of students fighting against Asian American exclusion in the decade after, in the 1980s. This was before California 1996 ban on affirmative action created a steep drop-off in Black and Latino students at the University of California campus. Chain says that when he was at Berkeley, there was evidence schools were purposely suppressing Asian American admission, not because of those seats were going to Black and Latinos, but because they were going to white ones. We were able to get the University of California to actually admit that they were discriminating against Asian Americans by disadvantaging them in what were supposed to be head-to-head merit-based types of competition between Asians and white students. Chang says he can't help but notice that Bloom and his supporters borrowed, even co-opted their movement and their message, along with some of their legal strategies for the exact opposite ends. Instead of fighting for affirmative action, they were fighting to kill it. So what happened was, as wild as it is, we read where the previous studies about South Asians were complicated because they couldn't identify themselves. Well, when they couldn't have that actual category for themselves, they were excluded to a degree from affirmative action. So in the 80s, when they rectified it and had them as a category, they were then able to get apply for at least be acknowledged in affirmative action. But the regular agents were already facing the other agents. Let me say that, not the regular, the other agents. I correct that. Were already fighting for discriminative practices because they were suppressing them because of not because of affirmative action, not including them specifically with the branch of affirmative action, which later then the right wing used that same method to dismantle affirmative action totally, at least when it comes to college admissions. So, the point of sharing this information is so that everyone can really be fully aware of what's going on in the politics today. Like I said, I think this is a setback for those who are fighting for reparations because they refuse to add that distinction. And while I understand what the NAACP felt about diminishing Black numbers by making this category, distinction, you can still be classified like they do Afro-Latinos. The way they classify Afro-Latinos, they can be Latino and of African descent. So you can still have an area in which you can acknowledge that you are a descendant of those who were enslaved in America while still keeping your numbers that say Black or African American. But they felt, go ahead, Juju.
No, you finish. I'm just, you finish. I'm sorry.
But they felt as though this would be a discouragement and or at least it would show some terrible numbers, which would then lower our voting power as well as any type of soft power we try to use overall. But, I think it's worth people being aware of where we're at with the conversation, what we can do to maybe improve it. Maybe you can impress upon your local congressman and your state senator, as well as your senator for the federal government, the Senate, House of the Senate, to look into this in a little more detail to ensure that things are expressed clearly. A prime example is I read in an article a while ago, maybe like a year or two ago, that when they were using it, they didn't make the distinction in college admissions. And they were like, well, African Americans are actually attending colleges at a high rate. And when you go actually into the data, you'll find out that a lot of those were students who were from Africa who were coming just to go to school in America and then going back, which is fine. We don't have a problem with it, but it kind of skewed the numbers that made it look like we were doing better than we actually were by a few percentage points. So that's another problem that we found out in here. So, it's just a opportunity for us to discuss and hold that. I think we did a nice job sharing.
You finished?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, and I think about want to revisit the show maybe, and really discuss the importance of being counted in the census. This show is just to show what the new census we're going to have and some of the problems that that we are concerned about it. Um, but let me tell you why census are important, and I think our skepticism towards the government on different things, particularly, and I can only speak for, you know, black people around me, but I do understand. Thank you, Shakir, that this might be a problem for, you know, not just black people, but, you know, some other people that may not be able to classify as white, that don't feel or know how important it is to be counted on the census. I feel like if you live in the hood, if you know people live in the hood, you need to do that census. My aunt is involved in local government politics because she is actively engaged in her community, and that means being a part of block grants. If y'all don't know what block grants are, y'all should find out. And that's why I tell people, if you don't want to vote for a president or these big national elections, fine, but you are doing yourself and your children an injustice if you're not involved in your local politics. So, really quick, the census is crucial for understanding population demographics, allocating resources, and determining political representation, and making informed policy decisions. It provides a comprehensive snapshot of the country's population, which is essential for planning and development of various levels of government and in private sectors. Additionally, it helps ensure fair distribution of funding, okay, and resources to communities based on their needs and demographics. So, if y'all want to hit the link, please. I'm not gonna shout out no names, but I do have a couple people I like to get up here. I lied, Shakir. I would love for you to come up here. You know, and you always be giving, you don't speak good English. I don't care. Yeah, I don't want to put y'all on the spot, but I kind of want to, you know, have a little small discussion. You know,
we got a question.
About it.
Juju. We
I
got a
don't see the
question from
question.
Ray Black.
Where is it?
What, huh?
I need to put it on the board. So can you give me a minute so I can find it?
Okay.
Like, where's this question at though?
It's at 4 minutes and 53. I mean, yeah, 4:53 p.m.
Oh, that's a long time ago.
Well, no, 7:53 because my clock is 3 minutes back and 7 minutes ago. I got my thing set for California. I can't tell you why. Long story.
That's wild. I don't even see this. No, that was a long time ago. I don't even see Ray Black in here. So that's got to be.
Yeah, about 7 minutes ago.
I don't see him, and I'm looking.
Okay. No problem. Want me to say what the question was?
Sure, go right ahead.
It says, was that legacy taking spots? He's talking about the case in California, and that's exactly what the problem was, Ray Black. That they had legacies in the University of California, and so the legacy took a lot of spots. That's why I wasn't mad when Dr. Dre did what he did, because that's exactly what they, people do. Nevertheless, so they couldn't exactly say, well, we can give the seats to Black and Latinos, because that would have been too problematic, extremely problematic. So they took it out on the Asians. So they left minimum spot for Asians. And so they fought to be included within that same branch as the Black and Latino groups under affirmative action, which some were denied that based on census data. So that's what happened. So they fought. They ended up getting included, having those things, having that to be a part of their application. And in that, they were able to increase their numbers, which then in 1996, they got rid of affirmative action in California. And you see an immediate drop in individuals of African and Latino descent being in those colleges. They're still trying to recover from that. So, um, yeah, Brass, there's a lot. That's another question. There's a lot, well, another statement that the census is used for, not just block grants. It's enumeration for congressional districts. How
Yeah,
many?
I don't think that was said though. We didn't say just use for block grants. Block grants has to do with the local level, but the census helps the government to allocate monies, and that's not necessarily in block grants.
No,
I hope y'all
no.
don't misconstrue the conversation.
Yeah.
And I think we spoke the importance of why it's important to be counted on the census. So, you know, I just want y'all to keep up with the information that we're giving, because not in any way, shape, or form are we advocating, anti-government. Yeah, I didn't understand that statement, but okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's just where we at with it, man. I'm glad we had these people that everyone came and listened as we discussed this new development. We'll see where the chips may fall. Again, I'm disappointed that they didn't make that distinction and use it as a subcategory, or where you can at least be clear on who you are um, under the umbrella of Black or African American, so that we can at least get a count, a number, and see, exactly where progress needs to happen. There's a lot of assumptions made that may or may not be true based on how broad they classify African Americans. You can have someone who is like in Nigeria, for case you have an upper class of Nigerians who still are benefiting from the enslavement of other Africans, and they can have the money to send individuals over to America to some of the best schools, because we still do have a high reputation for excellent schools and education, and they can use that money, send them over here, and that will bolster our numbers of those who are in school. Yet it may not reflect those who are descendants of slaves actually progressing enough. So, appreciate all y'all for coming out. Juju, you got anything else you want to say? I think
Nah, that's it. That's all we had. Just a little quickie. No, Diddy. No, let me quit. But that's all. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I just wanted to get the information out for the people.
All right, then. We'll see y'all later. Make sure y'all check us out tomorrow. We out. Bye.